To achieve your goals in the long run, it's important to set up systems that ensure that when your motivation runs out, which it does for all of us, that you have something to fall back on to make sure you get things done. We all have these moments, for some lasting a week or two, for some a day, where they feel extremely motivated. They find themselves with bounds of energy, ready to take over the world. But as each day progresses, that feeling to get up and do something slowly starts to fizzle out. This is where having systems in place to sustain you during times where you aren't motivated or feel like not doing anything becomes useful. We all know, or at least have an idea of what we should be doing at certain points throughout the day. But instead of completing that task, we choose to scroll on our phone, play video games, or engage in other mindless activities. This is where the first part of this series comes into play. It's about creating systems. Before your week starts, for me it's Sunday, I list everything I know I have to get done. From coding to creating this video, everything I know I need to do, I write down onto a sheet of paper. Some of you may prefer to do it on your phone or laptop, but for me, paper works best. Then I go through that list with each task, and then I think how much time would I roughly need to finish it. So, as you can see, I've assigned 2 45-minute sessions to each of the modules I'm studying, a goal of completing 1 chapter of my Python coding every day, 15 minutes a day for uploading the content I had prepared on Sunday, an hour and a half for exercise, and so on. With everything I have on there, you have to go through your list thoroughly, and most importantly, think back to how long it normally takes for you to complete that task, so you can have an accurate time frame written down. It is important to be honest with yourself in this exercise, because the times you choose and whether they are representative of the actual situation is very important for this whole system to play out. The next part of my system is transferring all these tasks and their timeframes onto a timetable. First, try to get a rough idea of the mandatory things you'll be doing throughout the week. Have all your pre-scheduled events written down and try to use your general habits to shape that timetable. Once you have this timetable, you'll notice the gaps throughout the week. For some, it will be a lot, for others it won't be much, but now we know what we have to work with. Time is the most valuable resource. Everyone knows how much they have in their bank accounts. We should all know how much time we have to work with. This will help us to get to the finish line of our tasks. Start plugging in those tasks into areas of your timetable where you'll have enough time to get it done and where it will work for you. Sometimes, little things like remembering. For example, on Wednesdays I have 6 to 8 p.m. free, but I'm always really tired. So try to put a task in there that you find more fun, something that you won't have to push through. Do this for the whole week, and once you have plugged in tasks to all the time slots that were free, you'll have either crossed off your entire list of tasks, or if there are any remaining, you now know what you feel like isn't valuable enough for you to put into your timetable or spend your precious minutes on. Now that you have a full timetable written out, you can stick it onto your wall, take a picture of it, transfer it onto any calendar tracking app, whatever works best for you, but keep it someplace that you'll be constantly coming across it. It will serve as a reminder to stay on track to achieve your goals. Now, you've listed your tasks, how much time you wanted to spend on them, you fit them into your timetable. The first part is complete. Now, your mind or that voice of procrastination will have less sway over you. You know what you have to do and when. There's no ifs and buts. If you wrote that at 6 a.m. you're hitting the roads to run, you know you have to do it. You know yourself that you chose that time to do it. You scheduled it in your life yourself. You have nothing else to do. Your brain has no decision to make. It's either do or be a quitter. The second half of the system is all to do with making sure you stick to the schedule you've made for yourself. I create these checklists. With each day of the week and with each task I complete, I tick it off, signaling to my mind a moment of victory. These checklists are so simple, yet they work wonders. If you're that type of person who always wants to keep improving, every time you tick that box, you'll have that urge to tick it again and have that feeling of having accomplished something again. If you keep this checklist somewhere which is in your constant view or some place that you'll look at it often, all the tick boxes will motivate you to tick off all the rest, and all those empty boxes will keep you on your toes. Your mind will know that there's work to be done, and the only way to do that is by your actions. By the end of the week, you'll know what tasks you finished, what tasks and goals you completed, but most importantly, you'll know all the things you didn't do. You'll know exactly in what areas of your life you slipped up and didn't reach the mark. Some simple maths will tell you, out of how many boxes, how many did you tick off? and how many empty boxes were left. You can write these figures down and make sure to improve on it next week. Let's say you ticked off 20 boxes out of 40. You know that for next week, to beat yourself, you need to make sure you get above 20. If you improve like this every week, you're going to get to the point where you're smashing all your goals, and you'll have to set the limit to a higher standard. To make this task even more useful to yourself, it helps writing comments under your checklist. Why did you fail to tick 20 boxes? What things were distracting you? What could you have done better? You'll slowly start to get to the root of your flaws, and with that, you'll be able to gut them and finally get rid of them. Whenever you complete a week, it's important to store that week in a folder or file somewhere so that you can reread the comments you make, look at the progress or lack of progress you have made from week to week, month to month, even year to year if you stick at it. If you keep recycling the system again and again, the compound returns to you will be immense. That is pretty much it for the actional part of the system. Now I'll be discussing with what mentality to approach this with. This system can be used by everyone. You don't have to be aiming to build wealth or business or trying to be a high performer in a field and many other things that are propagated to us throughout social media. The main people I intend for this system to be for are people who just want to stimulate purpose and wellness in their own lives. This is for people who want to dedicate more time to their art or taking walks in nature throughout their busy schedules, but always decide against it and delay it. It is for the person who wants to write novellas, or the working parent who wants to spend more time with their children. It can be used by students to help cope with their piles of revision. It can be used by anyone. The way the world is, people forget that they can attain self-mastery without caring about material objects or career-orientated goals. That seeking spiritual and self-mastery is an honorable pursuit in life as well. Even the creation of this video is an act of working on myself. By revising the system I follow myself helps me see if there are any flaws in it, or reaffirm myself that it is something that is useful and beneficial to my life. The views I receive from the video will make me happy because I know it will end up helping somebody else rather than filling up the vanity of being watched and followed by strangers. This is the first part of an actually useful self-mastery series. If you have any questions about anything I've discussed in this video, put it in the comment section below and I'll definitely reply. Subscribe to stay tuned for episode 2 and join me on this path of continuous learning.